Day 178 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. I am not a self-help guru. I'm just trying to help myself. Let's do it. Do you want to have a perfect conversation? I can tell you how. I spent 2.5 hours on the phone with my friend today. I only called to say happy birthday, and 2.5 hours later, we had a perfect conversation. Do you remember the song Birthday by the band The Sugar Cubes? That's the group that Bjork was the singer in before she dumped her bandmates and wore a dress that looked like a swan to the Oscars. Wasn't that fun? That's the kind of subject matter that friends have in 2.5 hour phone calls. 2.5 hours of communication, exchanging ideas, and laughter. We remembered why we're here. We recalled where we've been and how it affects where we are and where we're going. That is how you do it. And I want to convey how important it is to have these types of conversations with people in our lives. Communicating like this with people we love allows us to better understand who we are, which means we can enjoy our life more because it gives us a broader perspective. What does this have to do with Donald Trump? Yeah, I called him by his first name. I know I don't do that here on 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration, but I did it today. Why? Because he is a man. He is a person. He exists on this planet with a beating heart and lungs that breathe and a brain that works a little bit. I recognize his humanity. I have to recognize his humanity because if I do not recognize his humanity, I cannot justifiably dislike his humanity. That is the case. I do not like the man. If you go back to day 1 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration, which I have pinned to the top of my profile, that is exactly what I say, and that is exactly what I say today on day 178. Policy schmolicy. Of course, I don't like his policies, but that's politics and that's politicians. What I don't like about the leader of the Trump administration, or Donald, if you must, is that he's a jerk off. He's just not a person who cares to connect with other people in a way that makes their lives better. There is no communication, no exchange of ideas, no laughter, no remembering why we're here, no recalling where we've been and how that affects where we are and where we're going. I don't care if you're Donald Trump's #1 supporter. You cannot look me in the eye and tell me that Donald J. Trump ever communicated anything to you on a personal level to let you know that he personally cared about you. Donald Trump does not do his job. To be a leader, you must communicate with all of the citizens of the nation. And since he has made it clear that he is not interested in having even a 2.5 minute conversation, we might as well not bother acknowledging next year's 80th birthday celebration. Let him blow out the candles alone while we ignore the Trump administration.